Hello, hello. So this is another episode of the series Motivational Monday Live with your host, Aura Elena Martinez. And this week's episode is entitled, Allow Yourself to Mess Up. So before I start with today's or this week's episode, I want to start off by introducing myself if this is the first time that you are watching this series, and also share with you what was it that motivated me? What was it that inspired me to start this series to begin with? So once again, my name is Orlando Martinez, and I'm a self-discovery and empowerment coach, helping women gain total clarity in their purpose so they can wake up to daily fulfillment and certainty now. Purpose is not to be limited to just a calling. And why is that? Because you could be living your calling and still not be living your most purposeful life. And that's because a purposeful life also consists of you enjoying greater levels of mental well-being, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, physical well-being, and why not? Financial well-being as well. That is important as well. And what prompted me to start this series is the fact that Mondays tends to be that day of the week that people are like, oh my God, I got to go back to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. Oh, I'm not looking forward to the week. I'm not looking forward to what I have to do. They're feeling anxious. They're feeling frustrated. They wish their weekend was longer. And I'm going to say this, if that's you, if you find yourself feeling like you don't look forward to your Mondays, you don't look forward to going to work, you don't look forward to what you're doing, let that be your sign. Let that be your sign that something needs to change, because you were not designed to constantly be frustrated, to constantly be not looking forward to your week, not looking forward to your day, not looking forward to your work. That is not the way that any of us are designed to live. So let that be your sign that something needs to change, okay? And it is my desire that with this series, you get closer and closer to your truth. That's right. You get closer and closer to your truth. And why is this important? Because the more you know your truth, you understand your truth, and you live your truth, the more you're going to be able to live authentically. And it's when you live authentic to your values, to who you are, to what you desire, to what you envision for yourself, that's when you're going to be able to experience a level of happiness that doesn't rely on outside things. It just relies on you. And that's a beautiful feeling. That's a very beautiful feeling. It doesn't rely on objects. It doesn't rely on anything. And eventually, everyone wants to get there, right? We all want to get there. And so that's the way. It's when you know your truth and you live your truth so that you can live authentic to you and your values and what you're all about. And also, it is my desire that this series makes you look forward to Mondays, because you know you're going to be filled up with wonderful things, with truth, with love, right? You're going to be filled up with goodness, and that you elevate your level of consciousness. Now, this is something you're going to hear me say every single week. And the reason for this is because your level of consciousness dictates what resonates with you, what you're able to understand, how much you're able to capture, see. When you notice that two people are receiving the same information or are getting the same training, right? But one person is able to be very successful with that, and the other person is like, I can guarantee you both of them are in different level of consciousness. Now, there are many things that can dictate where our level of consciousness is going to be. There's so many things. But I can guarantee you that the level of consciousness will dictate whether someone is going to use the information and run with it, or someone is going to use the information and be like, oh, I don't know, this is not helping me. This isn't doing anything for me. You get what I'm saying? When you are on the first floor and you're looking outside from the first floor, people are going to look normal size. Cars are going to look big. Buildings are going to look big, right? But if you go up to the 10th floor and you're looking outside from the 10th floor. Well, the cars start looking smaller. People look a lot more smaller. The buildings don't look so big, right? And so I'm using that as an analogy to illustrate that the more you elevate your level of consciousness, what was once big, it won't have that bigness for you anymore. And most likely what was very small for you, it will have a level of bigness, a level of significance for you, because you're going to look at it very, very differently. So your perception of yourself changes, your perception of life changes, how you see yourself changes, how you see things around you changes. I'm telling you, the more you elevate your level of consciousness, the more you're going to see your life shift. This is more important than you can possibly imagine. And once again, this week's episode is entitled, Allow Yourself to Mess Up. This topic is so important in order for you to enjoy greater levels of well-being. Okay, this is why I want to talk about this. And this episode will touch on more of the mindset that is required in order for you to live your most purposeful life, right? So in this episode, I will discuss, what do I mean with allowing yourself to mess up? What allowing yourself to mess up is not. This is equally important, because I wouldn't want you taking what it is that I am sharing and this concept and use it against yourself, or use it as an excuse basically against yourself, period. I don't want you using it against yourself. And the importance of allowing yourself to do this. So I'm going to be talking about all these three things, okay? So nobody likes to mess up, right? Nobody likes to mess up. And this is because we don't want to be criticized or judged or rejected, or have other people have the wrong perception of us, etc., etc. And I want you to know this. We have been conditioned to not like to mess up. We have been conditioned to not like to mess up. How, you may wonder? Well, it all started when we were children, right? And the moment we started to mess up, I also want you to know this. We have the knowledge within us that sets us up for success. We were born with qualities that allow us to mature into who we were always designed to be. Okay? And what makes us lose touch with that wisdom that is within us, and with those qualities that are already within us that sets us up for success, is when we start listening to other people. That's right, I said it. It's when we start listening to other people. Oh, we were not supposed to do this. Oh, we're being too much. You know, when people say, oh, you're being too much, or you're smiling too much, or you're doing too much, or you did, right? When we take personal the stupid comments or stupid jokes that other people may make, and I call them stupid because some of them are very, very stupid. They're offensive and they think it's funny, and it's not, right? The more we make the outer world louder than our inner world, in other words, the more we make what other people have to say, what the outside world has to say, bigger, more important, more significant than what our inner being is trying to communicate to us, we lose touch with the knowledge and the qualities that sets us up for success. This is why if you have trouble, or if it's hard for you to listen to your intuition, this may be why. This that I just said may be the reason why. Okay? And that's a sign that inner work is required. This is the sign. Inner work will always be your key to success. And I want to clarify this. Inner work is not about you becoming something that you're not. I want to clarify that. It's not about that, right? The reason why inner work will always be the key to your success is because through inner work, you will learn to not be in your own way. You will learn not to be in your own way. You will learn to see yourself with clarity. You will develop a stronger sense of self. Okay? And you having a stronger sense of self is so important. So you know not to give a hoot about what other people say or think about you, so that you are grounded in who you are. So you're not shaken when things don't go the way you want them to go. This is why this is so important, right? Children are always messing up. Okay, they're always messing up. And they mess up when they're learning how to talk, right? When they speak, when they mispronounce things, they mess up as they're learning how to walk, right? Because they're getting up and probably they're turning their leg this way and that way and whatnot, right? They're always messing up. So as children, I'm just using this to put emphasis that none of us were born afraid to make mistakes, afraid to mess up, afraid to look ridiculous, afraid of rejection. Like, we were not born that way. Do you get that? Anybody that tells you the opposite, they're full of crap, right? All you have to do is observe children so that you can remind yourself of who you are. That's the beauty about being around children. They remind us of what living is truly like, okay? And usually we don't tell the children, well, that's stupid. Why did you do that? Right? Well, at least most adults don't say that, right? That's wrong. Don't do that. We don't speak like that to children when they're learning how to talk, when they're learning how to walk, right? What do we do instead? We encourage them, right? We encourage them to do better. Yet as adults, we tend to be so harsh on others and most of all on ourselves, okay? And so we stop giving ourselves permission in the process to mess up. What I mean with allow yourself to mess up is the following. Allow yourself to not always get it right. Allow yourself to be human instead of needing to be Superman or Superwoman, right? Allow yourself to make mistakes. If it's your first time doing something, be okay with it not coming out right. You're not doing that. You're not doing it right. You're not sounding right. Like, be okay with it not being right, right? Allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to be where you're at, even if you don't like where you're at. Now, I know that's a hard one because that's something that I have struggled with for the longest time. So trust when I tell you that I get it. I get it if allowing yourself to be where you're at can be such a challenge because it's like, oh, I don't like where I'm at. But you got to allow yourself to mess up, right? You just got to allow yourself. You just got to allow yourself. So allow yourself to feel the uncomfortable emotions. Allow yourself to just be at the moment. Allow yourself to not be so positive if that's where you're at in this moment. Now, I'm going to say this because this is so important for your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being, okay? Because anything that affects your mind, your emotions, and your spirit eventually will affect you physically as well. I'm all about being positive and high vibe and having high standards. I'm all about that. And all of that is very necessary, right? In order for us to be living our most purposeful life. But let's keep it real here, okay? Being positive, high vibe, and having high standards is not about you gaslighting yourself, right? For example, denying yourself that something happened. Oh, I'm going to make believe this is not happening because I got to be positive. I think that in the process of us trying to be positive, right? We've lost something, right? All in the name of being positive. And that's not what being positive is about. It is not about you dismissing your own emotions and thoughts. And it's not about slapping positivity when what is required is you being realistic, right? It's not about that. And I've noticed that in this movement of being positive and high vibe and having high standards, we have lost some of what all of this implies, right? So this is why I'm mentioning this. And I can guarantee you that those that are positive, high vibe, and have high standards, they allow themselves to mess up. They allow themselves to mess up, okay? And this is because in the messing up, there is growth. And when there is growth, there is expansion. And when there's expansion, there will be a transformation. Okay? The way that children are able to learn how to walk is by messing up. They get up and then they fall, right? First they crawl, right? First they crawl, then they get up and then they fall, right? Then they get up, and as they get up and they try to take their steps, their legs get a little stronger, but then they fall, but they keep going, right? And as they get stronger, that's their expansion. When their legs starts getting stronger, that's their expansion, right? Until the transformation occurs, which is them walking. Now, I want to say this about you allowing yourself to mess up. When you start giving yourself permission to mess up and get it wrong and all that stuff that I mentioned earlier, expect others to criticize you, judge you, or whatever. Expect it, right? Expect it. But remember this. It takes tremendous courage to allow yourself to mess up. Oh my God, it takes tremendous courage. It takes tremendous courage to allow yourself to fail. It takes tremendous courage to allow yourself to get it wrong. And when you amplify to someone else their lack of courage, because of the fact that they find themselves where they're at, they may find themselves needing to criticize you or judge you in order to diminish the trigger within them. Because it's much more comfortable to point the finger outside than to point the finger within. This is the reason why it's so important not to take what other people do or say personally, right? You can't. You just got to keep it going. Now, I want to talk about what allowing yourself to mess up is not, because I don't want this to get confused. I don't want you to start using excuses. No. Okay. So number one, allowing yourself to mess up doesn't mean that you are not going to or don't have to be intentional in what you do. So in other words, you're not going to be intentional. You don't have to be intentional. No, that is not what this means. This is not permission for you to do whatever just because, and I have no intention, I have no purpose. That's being sloppy. You don't want to be sloppy in your actions. You don't want to be sloppy in your doing. It benefits you to be intentional with what you do. And allowing yourself to mess up still requires you to be intentional. And if it doesn't go the way you expected, there's a lesson you learn. There is growth there available. It's not like, oh, well, now I'm not going to be intentional. You're going to be okay with it because you know there's something that you're gaining out of it. Number two, allowing yourself to mess up is not you reacting to everything every single time. The key word here is every single time, right? And this is because we're humans, right? We're all humans. And if you're reaching a point where you have a threshold, you're reaching that threshold of patience, well, of course, you may react. When that's the case, you may react. But this cannot be every single time. Because if it is every single time, that means that you don't have control over yourself, right? And you want to have control over yourself. You want to have control over whatever's happening within you, because you want to have control over what you do, your behavior, your actions, the decisions that you make. And number three, allowing yourself to mess up is not you doing something knowing it is wrong, or that it won't get you what it is that you want, and then justifying it with, well, I'm just allowing myself to mess up. That's not you allowing yourself to mess up, okay? That's not you allowing yourself to mess up when that is the case. That is you sabotaging yourself. Okay, let's keep it real here. Okay, you gotta tell yourself the truth. You gotta tell yourself the truth. The more you lie to yourself, the more you keep yourself right where you are. This is why it's so important that you tell yourself the truth, okay? The truth will set you free if you're telling yourself the truth, okay? So don't utilize this, allowing yourself to mess up, as a way to sabotage yourself. Don't utilize it. Don't utilize this as an excuse to keep doing what it is that you're doing. Don't do it, because you're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting your possibility of having what it is that you desire. You only hurt your vision. You only hurt your future self. Okay. Now I want to talk about the importance of allowing yourself to mess up, because this is very, very important. Okay. And this is utilizing what I explained earlier, what it means to mess up, right? Which is you allowing yourself not to be perfect, to get it wrong. You just go for it. You just keep trying, right? The reason why this is so important is because there is growth for you. Number one, when you mess up, there is growth for you, okay? There are lessons for you to learn. There are skills for you to gain. There is knowledge that you acquire in the process. Now, I'm going to share with you the following example. When I started interviewing experts back in 2020, when I first started, I had no idea what to expect, what to let the experts know that I needed from them or what I expected from them, yada, yada, yada. And then it took several experiences, because certain people were just easy to work with. So it you learn not from the best experiences, you learn from the not so good experiences. So it was through certain experiences that I learned, okay, this, I'm not going to do it this way, because I'm not going to give room or a loophole. And let me close all the loopholes. I'm not going to allow this person to do this. I'm going to require this. I'm going to ask this. I'm going to need them to know this, right? And it took me messing up, right? It took me messing up. It took me getting it wrong, going through some experiences for me to be very clear about what I need and what I don't need, right? Or just be very clear, have my boundaries. Like, I require to speak with the person before the interview. Apart from the fact that I want to know that we're a match, I also want to make sure that this person is just so much more than just an expert. I needed to know that they're human. I needed to know that they actually care about relationships. They care to connect. It's not just a transaction. They care about people, because then I will know, okay, these people, they care about their clients. They care about their results. They care about the connection. It's not just about making the money or making, whatever. And so, but that's just me. And that's because I want to make sure that who I'm bringing in the group is someone that I can trust to refer to them. You get what I'm saying? But that's something that it took me messing up. It took me going through several experiences. It took me interacting with certain people for me to know, okay, these are the kind of people that I would definitely like to collaborate with. These people, not so much. This is what I require. And if that person cannot meet that requirement, we're not a match. That's it, right? But it takes messing up. It takes messing up. Number two, messing up allows you to chisel away parts of you that do not belong or that no longer serve you. So just to illustrate this point, let me just share the following. So I've always had low self-esteem, right? But I didn't know that I had low self-esteem for the longest time until I started doing inner work, right? And so there was a mentor that I always wanted to work with, and I followed her for several years. And then I finally had the courage to apply to work with her, because you needed to apply to work with her. You needed to fill out an application to work with her. And the reason why I didn't work with her sooner is because I felt less than the women that were in her space, that were in her community. Like, because I had low self-esteem, I didn't value myself enough. I didn't feel like I fit, even though that community, like, I felt a resonance, like a sense of belonging, but I didn't understand why, despite my low self-esteem. But anyways, I will never forget November 2018, I finally had the courage to fill out the application. I did it messy. Right? But little did I ever imagine that, I don't know what I wrote in that application, but that made her want to personally speak with me before having worked with her. And I must say that working with her allowed me to chip away the parts of me that were not serving me, the low self-esteem, the sense of worthiness, the lack of worthiness, right? Like, it chipped away the parts of me that that didn't allow me to move forward. And mind you, I was so nervous to show up in the group calls. I was so nervous to ask my questions. I did it all messy. I did it all messy, okay? Because that was my way. That was the way to grow. That was the way to grow. I can guarantee you that 95% of the time, when something seems difficult, it's difficult, not because it's actually difficult, but because there's a layer there that is making it difficult. And so inner work is required in order to chip away that layer, okay? Once upon a time, this that I'm doing right now, this right here, doing this video was very, very difficult for me, very challenging for me. And not because it was challenging for me to press live or record, but because there was inner work that I needed to do that I had no idea that I needed to do at the time. This is why I do the work that I do, because I'm telling you, this is the biggest piece. If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, if you don't have a healthy relationship with your body, if you don't have a healthy relationship with your food, we are so tempted to go to what seems like the obvious things. If you don't have a good connection with your business, something isn't clicking in your business, I'm telling you, we are so quick to think it's sales, it's marketing, it's branding, it's this, it's that, it's a meal plan, it's a workout exercise, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff is important, but I can guarantee you the foundation is that inner work. You are the foundation. And when that is strong enough, the branding, the marketing, the sales, the food plan, the workout exercise schedule, whatever, like all of that, you're going to be able to build upon it. All of that is going to start making sense. When none of that is making sense, it's because there's something in your foundation that you need to work on. Okay. So this is very, very important. And number 3, you learn more about yourself when you mess up. And now I'm going to say mess up in quotation marks because you're not really messing up. You're growing, you're learning, you're expanding in the process, right? There is no way for you to know what's right for you and what's not. There is no way for you to know what you like, what you don't like. There is no way for you to know what you want to do and what you don't want to do unless you try, unless you're willing to do something. There are those that the reason why they don't know their capacity and they don't know their potential, they don't understand their potential, is because they're afraid to mess up. And because they're afraid to mess up, they do not try. And that's sad. And I'm not saying sad in a pitiful way. I'm saying sad in the way that, damn it, why are you going to allow something that you have been conditioned to feel stop you from you understanding your potential and you understanding your capacity? I can guarantee you that if you're afraid to mess up, it's because you were conditioned to be afraid to mess up. That is not a fear that you were born with. Just look at children. Children are not born with that kind of fear. They're not afraid to be silly. They're not afraid to make a fool out of themselves. They're not afraid of fall. They're not afraid of fail. That is not the kind of fear that we were born with. That's the kind of fear that we're conditioned, that we're learned to have. So it becomes important for you to reverse that fear so that you can get to the core of you, so you could get to the root of you, so that you're not sabotaging your efforts, so that you're not standing in your own way, right? So allow yourself to mess up and learn about yourself in the process. Allow yourself for things to come up to the surface, right? Because you're going to notice that when you go after certain things are going to come to the surface, whether that is fear, insecurity, whatever. Anything that's coming up in the surface is coming up in the surface because it's trying to get your attention. It's wanting healing. We're so quick to be like, oh my God, this came up. That means this is not meant for me. This means that I need to run away. This means that da 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 da. And when you do that, you prevent yourself. You're preventing a beautiful opportunity for your blossoming, for your healing, for your transformation, for you to move forward in a beautiful way. Okay, so if you are ready to heal any insecurities that you may have, any low self-esteem, because trust, I've been there, I get that. Any lack of self-trust. By the way, if you lack self-trust, have low self-esteem, have self-esteem issues, all those three things, they're all related. Those are brothers and sisters. If you lack self-trust, that's because you have the sister low self-esteem. Okay? You have that sister. One is a sign of the other. Okay, so if you're ready to work through all that, you're ready to step into the version of you that you know that you are. You're ready to heal anything within you that you are wanting to heal. You want clarity as to your next steps. You want clarity as to what's really getting in your own way. You want to transform that block or whatever it is that's getting in the way. Then schedule your clarity call with me. I'm always putting that link. You can always reach out to me and we will schedule the call for you. And in that call, we're going to go over where you are now, where you would like to be, what is necessary to close that gap, and how I'm able to help you. You don't need to be stuck. You don't need to be confused. You don't need to be going in circles, right? Take that step. Take that step to your transformation. Take that step to your healing. If everything that I shared here has resonated, schedule your clarity call with me. Let's see how I'm able to help you. Okay. And share this video with other people. You never know who needs to listen to this that I just shared in this video. And it is my desire that you allow everything that was shared here. If you have any concern about what so-and-so may think, what so-and-so may say, oh my God, I'm afraid to fail. Oh my God, I'm afraid of getting it wrong. Let this week's episode be the episode that changes that for you. Be the episode that creates a crack in that limitation that is within you. Because that is a limitation that was conditioned onto you, not that you were born with. Remember that. So with that said, it is my desire that you live life to the max the way you are destined to live. And until next time, bye for now.